Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE Smackdown on February 14th, 2017. And well, this is the fallout from the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view show. And they started off the show pretty much the way they should have, because they had a new WWE champion crowned on Sunday, and his name was Bray Wyatt. And Bray comes out, starts cutting his promo. I liked how he went with the entire aspect of how long it took him to really get to the WWE title and to a singles championship in any way, shape, or form. Also making reference to all the Sister Abigail stuff, saying that saying Sister Abigail said it wouldn't be easy, that they would lie to you and try to take everything away from you. And then making final mention to this, saying that he now has the whole world in his hands because he has the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in his hands. I liked Bray's promo. I liked the aspects of where they went with it and how he delivered everything going forward. This does bring out John Cena, which, surprisingly enough, he was very heelish tonight in his promo, basically just running down Bray Wyatt as much as he possibly could, saying, and even making reference to the fans, saying, you deserve it. It's like, you deserve nothing. You earn it. So let's earn it tonight. And invokes his rematch clause to face Bray Wyatt. And lo and behold, before that fully gets up and going, AJ Styles comes out. He interrupts and basically, in no less words, basically says he's tired of being overlooked and he wants his rematch towards the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. This eventually does bring out Daniel Bryan, and he makes it a triple threat match. This entire segment I thought was a very good segment. It came off rather well, and it brought up consistent arguments for each guy to actually have a shot at the title. It's like AJ technically should have his one-on-one rematch, and same with John Cena. But they weren't going to do a one-on-one rematch here. They were going to do a triple threat instead to go along with everything. So they set that up for later in the night. This brings up next. First of all, you have one segment beforehand where you basically have Dean Ambrose looking for Baron Corbin everywhere in the arena, or initially in the arena. And this does lead to multiple segments, but before you get to the American Alpha Ascension match, you see the first of those segments, and he's just yelling out for Baron Corbin, looking for him everywhere, asking people, like, have you seen Baron Corbin? Have you seen Baron Corbin? Have you seen him? No? Okay. And you get a few more of those segments throughout the show, and I'll get to that here in a few moments. But up next was American Alpha going up against the Ascension. This was surprisingly a good match. This was surprisingly a good match between them, and they actually allowed the Ascension to work pretty well here. They didn't put them over in any way. I don't think it was for the tag titles. I think it was just a match. But they did allow the Ascension to get some good offense in and make themselves look at least a little bit better, a little bit more of a viable threat towards everything. So overall, not a bad match here, but they do put the American Alpha over, and I'm not against that either. Honestly, I've been a fan of American Alpha in NXT. But they've kind of lacked a little bit since they've come up to the main roster. I don't know if it's just been promo-wise or whatever, or fans not truly getting behind it yet, but they've definitely been lacking something since they've been on the SmackDown roster. Not quite sure what it is yet, but we'll see how they progress down the road here with everything with American Alpha and everything in that aspect. So this brings up a little bit more of the Dean Ambrose stuff. Dean Ambrose was again looking for, as I'm going to readjust my camera a little bit as well. Dean Ambrose was looking for Baron Corbin all over the arena. He ends out running into James Ellsworth and Carmella. Kind of starts trash talking Carmella mostly. On the aspect of, and trying to warn James Ellsworth that, hey, she's just using you, dude. You should just go away from this. She's just using you. And of course, Carmella goats James Ellsworth into basically trying to stand up for her to Dean Ambrose. And Daniel Bryan comes in, and this is eventually the point where it's like, you know what? you have hostilities tonight, Dean Ambrose, and you also have unfinished business with James Ellsworth. So yeah, you guys can have a one-on-one match. Go ahead. Go right on out there. So that does bring up to what would have been next. It looked like it was going to be James Ellsworth versus Dean Ambrose. Ellsworth cuts a promo basically introducing Carmella. Not about what... It's actually not bad the way they do things with these two. It's kind of interesting how they play off of everything with James Ellsworth and Carmella at this point. Not great, but not horrible either. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird on that one. So eventually it was supposed to be Dean Ambrose coming out, but Baron Corbin finds him and had found him backstage and beats him down coming out to the entranceway. The two of them brawl on the outside, which eventually leads Dean Ambrose to getting thrown into like the lighting staging area, where you get like a little sparkler coming out of a TV or something like that when he gets thrown into that tabling area. So again, I feel it definitely leads more to believe that they're going to go for a Baron Corbin Dean Ambrose type match at WrestleMania or beforehand. They're definitely going to be working that program here in the very near future. Man, you had a lot of promo time on this show, though a lot of these matches also like there are a few matches, but there are also like the matches they did have were given a good chunk of time to go along with it. Like the American Alpha Ascension match was given a decent chunk of time. But up next was, again, another promo, which involved Nikki Bella, Natalya, and Daniel Bryan. Of course, they're back into this aspect. You had initially Daniel Bryan and Nikki Bella talking backstage, going over what had happened at Elimination Chamber, that they didn't settle anything. They continued fighting backstage, and it got to the point that Natalya comes in. They start fighting again inside of Daniel Bryan's office, and I love the line that he goes with here, just to incentivize what kind of match they're going for. It's like, you two fight anywhere in this arena, but in the ring right now. So screw it, we're having a Falls Count Anywhere match next week. I liked where they're going with it, and they do the way they portrayed the Nikki Bella and Natalya match on Sunday, and the entire storyline is that these two just don't like each other in any way, and this stipulation kind of fits that aspect, that they don't like each other, and they need to end this in some way, shape, or form. So how do you end it? Falls Count Anywhere match. You don't fight in the ring, so heck, you can fight anywhere in the pinfall counts, or the fall counts anywhere in the building. So that kind of works. Up next was yet again another promo, but this time from Dolph Ziggler. So he's finally kind of going with this whole aspect of like, they're finally giving out what is his reasoning for going after Kalisto and Apollo Crews, outside of potential frustration of just losing matches and everything in that sense. But his reasoning behind it is that he does not like the New Era guys at all. So that's his aspect. He's going after the New Era guys now. He's starting with Apollo Crews and Kalisto, and we'll see where they go with that and where they go with everyone else afterwards to go along with it. But that is their way of going about it. It's like he kind of does a semi John Cena with the aspect of being a little bit more heel about it. That, he's saying that he's still got a lot left in the tank. It's still his time, but these New Era guys want to take my place, so not going to allow that to happen. Yeah, not a bad promo, but then again, he's still getting cheered more than he's getting booed, even though he turned heel, which is actually not that funny, considering the fact that the two guys that they had him turn heel on, not too many people are caring about him, so it did invoke a reaction, but probably the reaction they weren't expecting backstage with that one. Up next was Becky Lynch versus Mickie James in a rematch from Elimination Chamber. This was a good match. These two, and I would dare to say, probably a better match than the one they put on Sunday. They gave it a good chunk of time, and it seemed to flow a lot better than the match that did on Sunday to go along with it. They do put Mickie James over, so they finally put her over in a one-on-one match since re-debuting on SmackDown. And Yeah, all in all, I liked how they went about this match too. It wasn't an aspect of, oh, Mickie James is just beat her up, beat Becky Lynch clean. No, she had to use wily veteran tactics to beat Becky Lynch. She had to fake an arm injury, and then she would hit Becky Lynch with a mick kick. I thought it came off well. They did a very good job with this match. Gave it a good chunk of time as well. And yeah, it was a rather enjoyable match between Mickie James and Becky Lynch. We'll see if they're going to continue on with this. They did have the announcers make mention that they are now 1-1 in these one-on-one contests, so you would assume that they're going to have another match down the road, whether it be next week or some other time. So we'll see how that goes about. Up next was, yet again, another promo, but this time from Naomi. And this whole aspect was her talking about her women's title victory and the fact that she got a knee injury, which was kind of news to everybody on that one. Whether it's kayfabe or fully on real, whether on the whole aspect of the knee injury side of everything, don't necessarily know, but I think they lead towards the aspect of it being, it might be more an aspect of kayfabe, because I didn't really see any news reports on it. But it could be a legit injury too. She was out there on not on a crutch, but in a knee brace, talking about like she got a basic babyface promo saying that this isn't going to keep her down. She's going to continue on fight. She's going to take this into WrestleMania and take the women's title into WrestleMania and everything in that aspect. Alexa Bliss comes out, basically challenges Naomi to next week for her rematch for the women's title. So you got the typical heel side of everything here from Alexa. Though I did like the reactions and the aspect towards Alexa Bliss's promo. Basically, it's like, oh, boo-hoo. It was kind of boo-hoo, you got an injury, whatever. I'm going to give you 1 week, and you can either forfeit the title or she's going to beat the crap out of Naomi and take the belt back or something in that sense. So, not a bad promo from both sides here. I thought it came off rather well. But again, like I said, there was a lot. The more I look at it, there was a lot of promo time, and there weren't many matches in the end on this show. But all in all, still felt like a pretty good show, because the matches that they had did get time to develop throughout the entire match, and the promos didn't seem to take away from anything on the show, which is a good way of even if you have promos, they kind of led somewhere. They weren't just promos for the sake of promos at that point. But this does lead into the main event of the night, which was John Cena, AJ Styles, and Bray Wyatt for the WWE Championship, World Championship, whatever they're calling it right now. Again, another really good match. This is a very good triple threat match. And again, well, it has AJ Styles in it. And as you've known, over this past year since he's been in the company, he's not having bad matches at all in any way. And again, he has a really good match with Bray Wyatt and John Cena here in this triple threat match. All three sides looked really good. I like how they're booking the Sister Abigail now too. They don't book it weak, they book it strong. Like, it only takes one to really put somebody away, or you have to make the save or something in that sense. So they do a good job with that. But the aspect of this match, the reasons why this match became really interesting, outside the fact that it was a good match, you had Luke Harper attack Bray Wyatt right at the beginning of the match, like where he goes to the spot where he typically blows out the lantern. Luke Harper appears right behind him and just attacks Bray Wyatt, taking him out for the first so many minutes of the match. Eventually he gets back in there. Again, this makes it interesting, because are they setting up for something down the road with Bray and Luke Harper? Because what they do after the match, because Bray Wyatt goes over, beating John Cena clean after Cena gets rid of AJ Styles, and or knocks him to the outside when he was going for a phenomenal forearm. Cena turns into the Sister Abigail, gets pinned, and at the end of the match, as Bray Wyatt's celebrating, Randy Orton's music hits, and he comes out all slow and everything, and it's like, okay, here it is. He's going to RKO Bray Wyatt, and we start this feud going into WrestleMania between the two of them. No, he doesn't do that. He cuts a promo saying, I won the Royal Rumble and all the privileges that come with it. But he says, since Bray is the master and he is the servant, he refuses to fight Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Basically refusing the match for WrestleMania. This leads to an interesting aspect of where they're going to go with everything. Are they setting up a Luke Harper Bray Wyatt thing at WrestleMania? Is this going to be all part of his ploy and the match still happens at WrestleMania style? It sets up a lot of different aspects to the particular matches and possibilities. My thought process that it'll still be Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton at WrestleMania, but this leads a little bit of a twist and turn into the storyline. How are they going to get to that? Because now he said he's refused the match. And on Talking Smack, they made a battle royal for the #1 contendership. So how do they write themselves back into that particular match? Does he go out there and actually win the battle royal and get it back or something in that sense? Or does someone else win it, but now Randy Orton, or will they have it where Randy Orton changes his mind? They got something storyline wise to work with over the next so many weeks. And it could be an interesting way of going. A very interesting way of going about it, because I don't think they've ever had anybody just like straight out refuse the WrestleMania match. I know they've had Cena technically take the match early 1 year after he had won the Royal Rumble, but they never had the Rumble winner come out and was like, no, I don't want the match. Okay, whatever. So we'll see where they play off of everything on this one. My thought process is that still saying that they would have Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton at WrestleMania, but now they've got a nice little twist and turn into the storyline to get themselves there. So we'll see how everything comes off of that one. Overall, this week's SmackDown, like I said, it was very much a promo-based show, but the 3 matches that you did get in there were pretty good to go along with it, and all the promos themselves kind of led somewhere storyline wise. So overall, I give that as a rather good show at that point, because the promos weren't just there for the sake of promos. They were there building their stories going into WrestleMania, and that's how I would prefer it to. That's how I would personally prefer it to be if they're going to have a promo heavy show to go along with everything. So with that being said, that is my review this week for WWE Smackdown. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.